I wanted to do a YouTube live about this subject, but I realized I don't think I can really give my take on YouTube how I can give it on Twitter Spaces. Now, as you guys know, I don't really tend to make Twitter Spaces like that anymore unless something big pops up. When something big pops up, then I would like to make a Twitter Space to really address it. And I feel like the community is a lot of confusion. It's a lot of hurt. It's a lot of trauma being re-triggered. It's a lot of that. And all last night, I was looking up multiple different videos about this lady, multiple different videos about the incident, a lot of different stuff. So I was able to kind of get the feel of the community. I was able to kind of understand where everybody is coming from. And I get it. I get where people are coming from. So for the people who might not know, they might have just woke up and saw the buzz. Essentially what happened, there was this black woman who we know by her saying it is a Somalian. She went to some club or party or something. Some dude afterwards outside was trying to get her number, trying to holler at her. She turned him down. He picked up a brick and he hit her in the head with a brick. You know, her face is swollen. She made her first video kind of confronting the men around about why didn't y'all do anything? Y'all just kind of let him hit me with this brick and y'all didn't say anything and y'all didn't do anything. And then she went to the hospital. When she was in the hospital, that's when the video kind of went viral of her crying and saying, you know, why did this happen to me? Nobody did anything. I can't believe this. And she's breaking down crying. First thing I want to say about this is I wish her well. Some of the things she was saying in the video in the hospital, I'm going to personally give her a pass. Somebody hit you in the head with a brick. You're going to be very emotional. You're going to be traumatized. I understand where I'm not going to put like the fault on her. I get that. So she said a bunch of stuff like men are not protecting me and stuff like that. She said that or whatever, which we can understand. And then once that got on to social media, that's when the thing really went viral. It's viral on TikTok, it's viral on Instagram, it's viral on Twitter. It's gone super viral where everybody's giving their takes on it. And the narrative is going around that black men don't protect black women, black men don't care. So I was looking this up yesterday and I saw this one guy. He was saying something like, and I saw his live was on TikTok. He was saying something like, well, you know, if you're not my mama, you're not my girlfriend, I'm not going to sacrifice myself to protect you. I don't care to protect you if I don't know you personally, or you can't expect me to sacrifice myself. I won't do that. I might call the cops if I see something happening, but I'm not going to do that. And then, because he had other people requesting, then other women were like, okay, well, what if you saw a child being assaulted or something happening to a child? He said, hey, I would still call the police. I'm not getting involved. I'm not putting myself in any danger at all for somebody I'm not attached to. I don't know. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a personal story about something that happened to me about 2 years ago. I was working at this facility, and in this type of facility, you need to get buzzed in. The door has a magnet that automatically locks, and you have to get buzzed in. One day, I was going to my car on break. This was around the winter time. Hold on. I'm going to start bringing people up in a second. I see people requesting. I saw this man and this woman. They were fighting. And the guy, I guess her boyfriend or husband, they couldn't confirm what he was. he grabbed her braids and started yanking her back to the car. So I went around the corner, or I reached around the corner. I hit the buzz button and I ran outside. And I grabbed his arm and her arm and I pulled him off of her. And I kind of pushed her back into the building. So she went in the building. They buzzed the thing. So she's in there. He can't get in. It's just me and him outside. Once I checked to see if she was inside, I turned around and he punched me twice in the face. All right. Kind of bigger dude. It didn't really, I didn't fall or nothing like that, because the people who've seen me, I'm not a small dude either. But he punched me twice in the face. And it was about to be me and him were about to start like literally scrapping outside, right outside the facility. And he had a car that pulled up. Now, when the car he was in pulled up, then I saw the window rolling down. So the window started rolling down, and everybody's like, James, get in, get in. They got a gun, get in. So I ran inside, right? I was fine. But then afterwards, they were like, he's going to come back for you. Let us walk you outside. So then I had people sitting up there, like, following me around, like armed security, walking me to my car and all that stuff. And that happened for a couple of days, mind you. Like, for a couple of days, people are like, I literally pulled up and people walked me there and, like, insisted on walking me to my car and back and all that stuff and follow me around the building to a degree. That happened for a couple of days, despite the fact that I didn't need that. So I'm telling you about a story that happened to me personally. Instinctively, I reacted to that situation. I didn't even know her name until after the situation happened. And I'm not going to say it now, but I didn't know her name until after. So it's not like this is a friend of mine or some girl I was talking to or anything like that. But I just instinctively couldn't sit back and record. It's instinctively myself. I couldn't sit back in good conscience and watch her get beat up like that. I couldn't do that. To me, I have too much of the Montgomery, Alabama spirit in me to sit back and let that happen. And I'm telling you a story that happened in real life to me. So I'm not going to say that Black men should just sit there and not do anything, not say anything. I in good conscience can't do that. On the other hand, the police came to the situation and they were asking the woman, okay, well, what's his name? Where does he stay? And she didn't want to give the police any information on the guy. So us and especially the staff, I was even less upset, but the other women was all like, okay, this man just jumped out and he got punched in the face. He got assaulted trying to protect you. And yet when the cops come, you don't want to tell the guy's name. You don't want to snitch on the guy's name. So that happens a lot too. So I don't want to put this platform out there and tell men to just start charging into danger like they're Batman. And then the woman gets into it with her boyfriend, but she don't want to tell. Something happened, he get assaulted, but she's not going to tell the police about who did it. She's protecting the man who assaulted you. You know what I'm saying? So we have to have that conversation too, because I can't in good conscience tell you guys, I've never done this and I won't now. I can't in good conscience tell you guys to do something that I myself would not do. I'm saying what I have done before in the past. I believe in the Montgomery, Alabama spirit and energy that we saw last month. And I want to see more of that. And I do believe there's a lot of Black men who want to see that too and have that energy as well too. And who wouldn't just sit back and let something happen, be like, well, you know, I don't want to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? I believe that most Black men are not on that page at all. However, we also want to have the conversation too, because we want to teach or advise the women how to not necessarily protect yourself, but also how to be aware of your surroundings so you don't wind up in dangerous situations. Because let's be honest, there's not going to be a knight in shining armor running out of the shadows. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, there's a lot of women with children here. Would you want your son to sit up there? Would you want your son to sit up there and be running into danger trying to save everybody? Most women wouldn't even want their son to do that. So we have to have a very grounded conversation of, okay, black men should protect black women. Black men should protect black people. Black men need to keep that Montgomery, Alabama energy with them. And also, not deflecting, but also there's a conversation of, okay, the women need to be more cognizant of their surroundings so they don't wind up in dangerous situations, you know, because we're going to have this realistic conversation, because there's a lot of people who are like, well, black men should teach other black men or hold other black men accountable. But let's be honest, what does that really mean? What does that really, like, most black men aren't sitting up there around a bunch of women abusers. Those are the people who saw that. Those are the same people. They're not going to, they're all in the same group. They're the same small little 5% of people who allow that to happen. All right. So I don't want to turn this into black men just don't hold anybody accountable. Black men allow people to happen, this to happen, because it's not. I'm not condoning what happened to that lady. I'm not pacifying it. I'm not belittling it. I'm not minimizing it. Okay. I'm not victim blaming her. I'm not saying, well, if you weren't out there with those tight pants, well, if you weren't out there by yourself, I'm not doing any of that. Okay. She's the victim in this situation, and I don't want to do that. Okay. But I don't want, just because she is the victim in the situation, I don't want that to become a thing where now all black men have to have their feet to the fire, especially, and now it's time for this top part of the conversation, especially black American FBA men, to have their feet held to the fire because of something that we see a Somalian man has done or whatever. That's not fair to the rest of black men, you know. And it seems like almost every time something like this happens, then it's all black men gotta wear the jacket of a woman beater. And that's not fair to put that jacket on all black men, like we're all in some way complicit, like we have this culture that we allow to prosper, because that's not true. So we can't do that. We can have the conversation of protection, we can, and that's appropriate, but we can't have the conversation of protection with the premise of, this is because black men ain't doing shit. And this is because you guys are bad. We can't have that with that premise. So it's important for intelligent black society to really have this conversation where healing can be done, because this is very traumatizing. Okay, especially for a lot of women who might have gone through a similar situation like this in her life. This can be very traumatizing. This can bring up a lot of triggers for a lot of people. So a lot of people are making emotional different reactions to it. Now, on to the other conversation. She is a Somalian, and she confirmed that herself. A lot of the men around her were Somalian. Okay, a lot of them were. I'm gonna allow certain people to come up, because I'm gonna start allow accepting that, but let me finish first, and I'm gonna get to you. Raise your hand, PC. And let's be honest, we've seen videos, it's gone viral on Twitter, where in these other foreign countries, we see men proposing to women, and then when the women says, I'm cool, I don't know if I want to marry you, the dude just picks up a pipe and start hitting her in the head. And this is something we've seen. I'm not making it up. This isn't me exaggerating or anything. This is something we've seen. There is a culture of that goes on in these foreign lands. where women can just be attacked in the middle of the street, and it's generally condoned. It's generally kind of like looked over in their society. So we have to understand there is a significance in pointing out that these people are not of our culture. There's a big significance of that. You know what I'm saying? For instance, if a Japanese person does something, Chinese people gonna be all like, hey, we completely different people. We Asian, yeah, we all Asian, we get that. But you're not gonna hold Japanese people accountable for something a Chinese man did. They're gonna be on that type of page. Yeah, we all Asian, but you're not gonna put this jacket on all Asians. You know what I'm saying? Because a Japanese person did something. So this is kind of the energy that we're having here. As Black Americans, we all like, okay, you not gonna come to our country and then do something like this, and now we all gotta be held accountable for this. You know what I'm saying? So that part of the conversation needs to be told. And then not only are we going to be held accountable, you're going to turn this into a gender divide between our men and our women, when this is a problem that's kind of systemic in your community. You're not going to bring your community's problems to our community, and now we have to deal with the repercussions of your community's actions. That's not fair for us. You know what I'm saying? So this is the kind of the energy that everybody is on. You know, so we're going to get to some of the speakers here. PC, you can go, and then we'll go with Breeze.
Go ahead, Breeze.
Okay, yo, peace, family, peace, Afro Elite, my brother. Yo, I just want to say, we all know for a fact that this is not a FBA thing. We don't get down like that. We don't condone this. Real quick story. When I was a young man, my neighbor was fighting with his baby mama outside. I was only 15. I ran down there. I got in my bro's face because he was my neighbor. I knew him. I got in his face, tried to get him to stop his girl. As I turned around, his girl punched me in the face and told me to get the hell out of here. So that's one of the things we have to, as Black men, we got to always be looking at that thing. We got to be always taking the temperature, because we be thinking we trying to get out here and save these sisters. And some of these sisters, they want the fisticuffs. They not looking for to be saved. And sometimes we got to remember that. And so when we dealing with these other groups, these tethers, we got to look at the background of these types of people, where they come from. And my biggest problem with this woman was that I knew she wasn't one of us when I first saw her. But the fact that she was using the N-word, saying all these N's ain't doing shit, y'all out here, this how y'all treat women. So you know when they use the N-word, that's always thrown on us. That's extra baggage that we don't need, and we're not going to let people put their trash on us no more, and they're going to have to hold their own garbage. And I'm going to land my plane right there, bro.
Appreciate you. PC, you got it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and step down. I ain't got nothing constructive to say. Just wanna, just say you're spot on. You're spot on with your analysis as always. So yeah.
Thank you. Now, I want to get to what our brother Breeze was saying. What our brother Breeze was talking about is there are situations where men go out there and naturally try to protect the woman or something like that, and you naturally will think that, okay, this is a damsel in distress and she deserves your protection, she deserves you sacrificing your safety, and then you turn around and you find out her background, she on some goofy stuff. You know what I'm saying? That, like, we're going to have to be realistic with that situation. We can't tell men to put on capes and act like they're Superman because men are not bulletproof. We can't do that. There is a level of, we have to assess the situation. Now, does this mean, because I'm not a type of person who's gonna, I don't call the police. I'm not the type of person to be like, there's danger, 911, please help me. I'm not that type of person. I'm not gonna call the police if there's danger Please, someone, please come say it. I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I told you guys my story. I will instinctively react. But we can't sit here and say, because of an environment she put herself in, now all black men, like you said, she using the term niggas. Now us as black Americans, now we got to be held accountable for an environment she put herself in. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair to us. Dizza, you can go ahead. Dizza, you can unmute yourself.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Shouts out to everyone up in
What's
the
going on,
space.
bro?
I just want to point out one thing because I live out here. Last year, Houston passed a bill basically saying that every bar, every club within the city limits has to have cameras on the front and on the sides and on the back of it, right? Because like there was a lot of incidents happening all over town. So I'm fairly certain there's video footage of this alleged attack. So let's see what the fuck happened because it sounds like she was in one of those Caribbean or one of those African clubs down on the southwest side of town over there by Richmond and shit. So if she was in that area, that's still city of Houston. So it should have camera footage. So I don't see a police statement on this. I don't hear anything about camera footage. I know her whole online persona is getting clout and disrespecting people. Like she literally goes up and slaps men in the face, and she spends her time twerking. She literally has her TikTok name is Angry Black Muslim Woman. So everything she does is for attention, is for clout, is for whatever, right? So I'm not even sure if this incident even happened, because believe me, there would have been footage of this incident being leaked out by the club. Believe me. What's up now, Afro?
I'm gonna say this. I mean, just to clarify, we do know for a fact she was hit with a brick. We know for a fact that happened, at least. But what you're saying is we don't know it happened the way she said it happened.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, she obviously was hit in the face, and I mean, she looked like Martin Lawrence after Tommy Hearns put them hands on. But this whole that was a real good episode. But this whole thing, it's going to slowly turn into black men ain't shit. And we already deal with enough bullshit as it is. Now we have black men being put up in a negative light, because I really do want to see the actual club footage, and the club footage is going to be out there. I can assure you 1,000% in Houston that club footage is somewhere out there, and let's just see what happens. But it sounds like she probably was trying to slap a dude or try to get up in one of these dude faces, and maybe somebody hit her, or maybe she initiated, because that's what it sounds like, because all throughout her TikTok it's her initiating bullshit with various other men doing goofy stuff. So I'm not saying it's right, but another thing, just like you touched on, I got a story too myself where I was 16, 17 years old, and I seen a girl getting jumped on by her dude. At this point, I'm probably like 6'4", 6'5". I run up on the dude, I yoke him up, and what does the girl do? She starts swinging up on me. That's that BS that be happening. So yeah, no, man. This is just one goofy story from head to toe, man. But thank you for you and Tariq for covering this and really shining a light on this, and really letting people know that this ain't us. Like, this ain't really a black American men motive. We don't do shit like that. Like people get rejected all the time. And I just want to highlight one other incident. There was that was in the game. She was an online OnlyFans type of girl, right? She got ran over on the south side of Houston, and her attacker was some like Nigerian dude. His name was like Obingi something, it was some crazy African sounding name. So, like the more I think about this and the more I look into this sounds more and more like some like African, amok bullshit and not really Black American man bullshit. I'll pass the microphone off. Thank you, Afro. Shouts out to everyone up in the space. Nikki, I'm gonna listen to that Lowski video, all right? But yeah, I'll holler at all y'all later, man. Peace.
Appreciate you, Dizzle. Thank you very much. Now, I'm gonna touch on that a little bit later. Let's get to our sister ZZ. Y'all make sure y'all follow our sister ZZ. So ZZ, you got it. You can go ahead.
Hey, peace to everyone in the not the chat inside the space, but peace, Afro. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. You get to go ahead and speak your piece. I'm glad. Thank you for stopping in. Definitely appreciate your take on this.
Not a problem. I'm not going to take up too much of your time or too much time on the space. I know a lot of other people want to come up as well. But I do think this is a layered situation for sure. When I initially saw it, I want to start off by saying I'm not in agreement with men putting their hands on women, especially to this extreme. You grabbing a brick and putting your hands on a sister. That's egregious. That's not right. But I will say when I saw it, it was just something in my spirit. My intuition was like, something is off. From the way that this girl was in the hospital, like, I do everything to help people and people just want to kill me. And I'm like, that is just an odd reaction, for a situation like this, for her to be it was off. Something was off. So that's why I resided. I waited. I was like, I'm gonna wait to talk about this in a couple of days when I go live, to give my commentary on it, because something just feel off with her. For me to go to her page and see her twerking with a 7-year-old. Sorry, did my phone go out? Because my somebody just called me.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me to go to her page and see somebody, let me put my phone to do not disturb. 2 seconds, hold up, so don't call me back. But for me to go to her page and see her twerking with a 7-year-old, talking about fighting the patriarchy and not dressing modestly, and then clips of her pop up of her, men don't protect anybody and women protect everyone. Women are the protectors and the providers. Then to her coming out, and we seeing her slapping a white man. So I'm like, wow. My intuition was on point, because it's funny that the first narrative she decides to push is, Black men, y'all didn't do anything, and this is ridiculous, you're hitting women. But you just said women are the providers and the protectors. So it was women out there as well. Why do you say, y'all didn't women up? I need y'all to be women and protect me. There wasn't that narrative. There wasn't a narrative, I'm a woman, I can protect myself. Well, you said that you're a protector. So it's so many layers. It gives me the fake, kind of like that Septum girl that went viral the other day, the fake woke liberal feminazi vibe that is like, it's sad because it's like a karmic circumstance, to be honest. It's like you thought that you could run around and speak like this, and it's a hard lesson for so many women, because so many women think they can run around and use this sort of rhetoric that, men ain't this and we can do this and we're superwomen, and until you end up in a situation and a man is right there, and now you're expecting a man to be a man, but that is not what you promote. That is not what you believe in, is men being men. And you want to call masculinity toxic, but when masculinity is needed, now when it's needed in an extreme situation, now you want it. But when it's on an everyday basis, now it's toxic. That men can't be men. Men should be more feminine. Men need to be softer. Men need to be, so it's a karmic situation. I can only again, I'm not in agreement with him hitting her with the brick. And to put the cherry on top, apparently it was a white man. Well, she slapped the dude in the video, was a white man. So I don't know if it was the same man that actually ended up hitting her with the brick. But that's also another aspect as well, is that your first mindset, if it was a white man, was to go to blame black men. Black men don't protect black women, but you don't talk about the possibly anti-black racists that might have hit you with the brick. There was no talk of the white man that probably hit you with the brick, that allegedly they may have hit her with the brick. So it's a layered situation. I'm not about to get up here and cape for this girl. They got a GoFundMe. She done got, I think, like 12,000. I'm like, what in the world? I'm not feeling that. Protect black women, but also black women, you gotta put yourself in a position to be protected. you know. And there's also the aspect of us protecting men. So protecting our men. So this is unacceptable. I'm not about to get a pancake for this girl, but that's all.
Yeah, thank you. Let me touch on that real fast. Me personally, I don't really like the "it be your own people" response. Like I'm gonna tell you guys, some people know because I posted it on my Instagram. Like a month or so ago, somebody broke into my car, tried to steal it. Okay, had to fix my window, they broke it, whatever. I wasn't out here on Instagram. It be your own people who betray you. It be your own people who try to rob. I don't do that. And I don't like when people have the "it be your own people" type of energy when stuff like that happen. I don't do that. So that was kind of the energy she was on. And then when you look at it, like for instance, we've all seen those videos, the dudes be at the store and they be like throwing stuff. Have you guys seen the videos of the dudes? They be throwing stuff and they pretend to be mannequins, and then when people ain't looking, they throwing stuff at people. If people find out, like, okay, yeah, you was throwing shit at people, and then you get jumped one day, and you be like, man, my own people. It's like, okay, well, hold on. There's layers to this conversation apparently now, because we found out you like to do stuff. And those type of things lead to a situation where you can be hurt. So let's not it be your own people. And you was the story is you was throwing stuff at people, but you don't want to tell the part where you started shit. You know what I'm saying? ZZ, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's all. I think shout out to all the speakers, because I think y'all are hitting on the points. I'm definitely still going to do a video about it, possibly in a couple days, or like tomorrow, hopefully, as soon as possible. But yeah, this ain't it, man. It's great. It's outrageous. Protect black women, but put yourself in a position to be protected. That point blank, period.
Absolutely. Y'all make sure y'all go follow our sister ZZ. Organizing the hands. John, you got it. John, you can go ahead.
Hey, what's good, bro? What's good, everybody? Man, this situation is like Z said, it's a very layered situation. Looking into this, we don't know really what happened for her. You know, of course, I'm not condoning what happened at all. You know what I'm saying? But just looking at her videos and everything like that, I'm assuming, you know, I'm just analyzing the situation. Low key, she might have done something weird for her to, you know what I'm saying? She might have done something like off the wall for that to happen. You know what I mean? We haven't seen the whole video. We just analyzing just from one perspective. But I've been in situations where I've seen domestic violence situations taking place. And, you know, I'm like the only person around, like really starting to spaz out, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I need to go over there and do something. I need to help this woman, And I remember one of my friends, she was telling me, she was like, yo, John, like, calm down. She's gonna, you know, this lady, she was getting into it with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was big as fuck. And she had like a baby in her arms and everything like that. And the dude like pushed her on the ground, like smacked her in the face and everything like that. And my homegirl was telling me, she was like, no, John, like, yo, calm down. She's gonna leave with this dude. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, she's gonna get in the car with him. They're fighting, but she's gonna get in the car and she's gonna leave right with him. So don't get involved in it. Don't jump in. Just let whatever transpires. Literally, within a few minutes later, that's exactly what happened. Shorty got right in the car and left with the dude. And then if I would have jumped in, I would have been arrested. She would have been home, bouncing on this nigga dick, all of that type of shit. So, you know, as men, we just can't just be jumping into situations and we don't really know what's really going down. We have to, you know, when it comes to warfare, you have to analyze every situation possible before you just jump in. And that's what's going on with this situation. I'll end there for now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't want to preach cowardice to black men. I don't want to preach that. I don't want men to be cowards like, hey, if she ain't your girlfriend, That's not your mama. Who cares what happens to her? I don't want to preach that. But there is a balance with it too. We don't want to preach sitting up there and fly around and put yourself in a dangerous situation. You know what I'm saying? And we don't want to do that either. Because there's a lot of black men who do that. There was a situation out here in Chicago. A black dude saw, I believe it was Chicago, a black dude saw hit a guy and his girlfriend fighting in a car at a gas station. He jumps in to try to get the guy off his girlfriend. The dude winds up shooting him, killing him, and then drives off with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Those situations happen. So we can't say like, don't protect black women if you don't know them, you know, but run out and save everybody. There has to be a middle ground. There has to be a real grounded, mature conversation about how to approach that type of situation. So I appreciate you giving your take on that. We'll get to some of the other hands. We got JL, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me? I'm kind of...
Yeah.
Okay. So first, I just want to say, you know, when I'm in situations in real life, if I have a flat tire, if I'm in a public situation where I need help, I actually do always have the help of men. So I just want to put that out there. I feel like, you know, there's never a time where I'm in need that 9 times out of 10, there is not a black man helping me. Now, this is in real life. Sometimes I see, you know, different narratives online, and I do just want to make that a known thing. So I want to go back to when this situation first happened, and none of us really knew, because I'm looking into the thing about her being a feminist, all this stuff, right? When this first came on the scene, all we knew was that this was a woman at a gas station and she got hit in the head with a brick. So I'm looking at that, I guess, not even on a male versus female basis. I'm looking on a humanity level, like, okay, there are men standing around. Now, there are some people that said, well, those weren't black American men, that's why they weren't doing anything. That's believable, because when I'm usually, like I said, in a situation where I need help, 9 times out of 10, there is always someone there. That's real life. I think when it comes to me as a person, when I see anybody in danger, right, just in real life, I guess my fight or flight senses, I don't have time to go look at their online Rolodex of transgressions or things that they would have done. I just look at what's happening in the moment. And in the moment, I've even been in some situations where I will, you know, duck to safety, call the cops, and maybe even be questioned for putting myself in danger when it comes to other men, other women, because at the end of the day, if there's nobody else that's going to help you, I'm going to make sure there are cops on the way. I'm going to make sure, you know, I do what I can do. And I don't think that that's really a male versus female issue. I used to call, there used to be people up north on Twitter, right, where they would have this "it's not my business" mentality. And I used to see that only in New York at one point. And I think the problem with, you know, you want to say, okay, she's a bad feminist, she does all these things. If you believe in karma, then understand that the world will take care of that. Now, am I going to look at her being hit with a brick and decide that that's her karma for being this crazy feminist? I don't know if I can do that. And I think that when I just approach a situation where I see a woman getting hurt, I am going to speak up. It's not really a gender issue in that way. And I think that if we, you know, deal with people's transgressions coming out before we help them on the scene of something, I think that's going to make for a very, you know, dangerous world. Again, am I saying that she's right in all of her beliefs, you know, everything that she might have done? No. But all I'm seeing is in that moment, a woman getting hit with a brick, it doesn't matter if she's a man or a woman. I feel like as a society, as humanity, if we start to get to a point where we just feel like we are able to turn a blind eye when anyone's getting hurt, male or female. You know, I'm at the point, I'm 30 now, so when I see people's children playing on the playground and it seems like they're about to fall off the jungle gym, I damn near want to, you know, be there to catch them. That's just my fight or flight as a human. I want to, like, help. You get what I'm saying? So all I'm saying to y'all is that if she is a bad person and you guys figure out all this stuff about her, okay, but still try not to justify that with, you see a woman, you know, get hit with a brick, and then we use that as a means to justify that happening. Because like I said, people will get their karma in other ways, but I don't think that it's up for us to sit there and say, oh, well, this person has done this, so in that case, she didn't deserve to get defended. Because again, sometimes, and this is what I will say, sometimes these online narratives, maybe they are planted on these social media sites to kind of get us in an uproar. Because again, when I'm in situations where I need help, just being honest, 10 times out of 10, I've always been helped. You guys understand what I'm saying? People will look at you and say, oh, you're bitter. No, but when you see another woman not getting helped, again, man or woman, that to me, like, that lacks humanity, if y'all understand what I'm saying. So my first thought isn't, oh, she's a Somali that's done this and that. Okay, she'll get her karma for that. She's a crazy Somali, evil, whatever. But it's like, I don't think we should associate that with her getting hit with a brick and say, she did all these things. Now that justifies her getting hit with a brick, if y'all get what I'm saying. And I'll end there. Because it obviously has a lot of layers, but, we just have to make sure that we're not waiting till stuff comes out about a person to just have that humanity in us. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you for that. And before we move on to because there's some people want to speak. Before we will move on, let me touch on that for a second. This is why we're having this conversation, because there's so many different layers to this topic. There's so many different angles to look at this situation. Like I said myself, I couldn't just sit there and be all like, well, I don't know her. And I'm not trying to create men who are like, well, I don't know. She ain't my mama. I don't care what happened to her. I don't want to breathe that. Like I'm saying, I want a more of an environment where it's like Montgomery, Alabama type thing. Like we all looking after each other. We all taking care of each other. I want more of that in the community. You know what I'm saying? So and nobody is in, and I'm glad you brought this up too. We don't want to justify. Nobody's trying to justify this happening because of that. You know what I'm saying? So let's all bring all of these things into context. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot to take from this situation. Nikki, you were next. Do you have anything you want to say? And then after Nikki, we'll get to Naturally Torah, and then we'll get to Town Bigs. Wait, hold on. After Naturally Torah, PC, did you have something you wanted to say?
PC said that he didn't have anything to say. You just never put him down.
He said that, and then he left, and he came back. Okay. But okay, Nikki, you got it.
Okay. I think I'll make a post about this, but I want to ask everyone when they get a chance to do a Google search on woman being hit in the face with a brick, and I want you to see how many reputable news sources come up. Okay, somebody's got to play devil's advocate here. Okay, I think the way I think, and that's just how it is. I find it odd. Now, I know what I saw in her face. I'm a medical professional. I get it. I know that something happened to her. But my theory is that she went to the hospital and she didn't want to make a police report, and that they, with them being mandatory reporters, they called the police and they entered her, and it was someone who she knew, and she didn't want to make a police report. I don't see any articles about this. I see Willie D making a post. Anytime I see something that's just only a bunch of YouTube or non-reputable websites, I know that there's something off about a story. So I just feel like, personally with me, I don't need to go any further with it. It is what it is.
Yeah, and to touch on that, this is why when I saw it last night, and I was watching a ton of videos on it, I decided to wait before I made a response. This is my first time addressing it publicly. I haven't addressed it publicly since I saw it last night, and it's important to be patient and wait for the story to kind of unfold before you give your take, because people don't want to give their take and then wind up backtracking or whatever the case is. So that's important. There's a lot we don't know. Naturally, Tori, you got it.
Thanks, Afro. Hey, Room. So I asked the question within Tariq post: is my husband responsible to put his life on the line for a random woman that probably would hate him in real life and take himself away from his family? And I was attacked by some women. So I want to address the diet feminism towing the line in here. Listen, you don't get to bash black men and at the same time say that black men need to put their life on the line for some random woman when he has his own family. That's me. I don't care who try to come at me and attack me in regards to it. And like Nikki said, we don't even know if this is a skit or not. None of us are saying that we agree with a woman being attacked, but you don't get to attack black men and then say that black men need to stick their neck out for you. Because the same black women that were coming after me for my comment will call the cops on a black man, knowing how that situation may end. Don't come for me and don't toe the line and don't be diet feminism and say, oh, we need to be humanitarian. No, I don't believe that no man that don't know no woman, unless you know the situation. No one knows that situation or why someone would be so barbaric. A brick, they could have killed her. We don't know what the story is. So you out here caping for this woman. Why would someone hit someone with a brick? And like Nikki said, we haven't seen nothing in the news. We don't know if this is a whole skit. This is someone that be on TikTok. This is someone that is known to bash black American people. But you got women, because of the feminism in them, they so ready to say, oh, but this is a woman, and oh, black men don't do this. My husband ain't obligated to nobody but me and his family. Because guess what? My husband's not going to take himself away from me because some woman that got herself in a situation.
She'll be back, and then when she comes back, we'll let her finish her take.
I just want to clarify that I don't think that was a skit. I can look at her and I know what real swelling looks. That looks like real swelling. Mm-hmm. That looks like a real bruise. My thing is, I feel like she just did not, like she knew who did it. She knew the person personally who did it. I don't think it was a skit.
Okay. Yeah. Now, is Tora back? I just accepted her request back. I think she's back. I don't see her though. Hold on, let me see something.
She's on stage.
She is? Okay. Well, I can, okay. You can finish. You can go ahead, Tora.
No, I think her phone rang or something. She needs to leave out the space and come back.
So we'll try to, if everybody can kind of make their takes a little bit shorter so we can get through a lot of the hands.
I just want to clarify something, because just for anyone that thought that my stance is that black men should get up and help this woman, I don't think that at all. I think that if you're scared and situations like this scare you, definitely stand down. I think that is not a gender issue, again, because I don't really go by talking points. I'm more of a free-form thinker, so you're not going to find feminism over here. You're not going to find pick-meism. I'm somewhere in between, riding the lines. So again, if you feel scared in these
I'm back, Afro.
Okay. Tori, you got it. I don't know what's going on.
So like Tariq do say, hit dogs holler. I didn't say anyone. This is in regards to if you feel like you diet feminism, then it's for you. But I'm talking about the woman that attacked me by saying that my husband is not responsible to stick his neck out and lose his life for someone. He don't even know the situation. We don't even know the situation, but the feminism are so quick to say, oh, humanitarian, the same women that say they don't need no men. How does that work? You don't need a man, you independent, you could do bad on your own, but a man's supposed to lose his life at the same time. So if the shoe fits, then wear it. I'm talking to the women that attacked me because I said my husband is not obligated, and I don't feel that another man is obligated to stick his neck out for me also, because he has his own family. So if the shoe fits, then wear it, but don't address nothing that wasn't addressed to you. I'm talking to the women that attacked me because of the comment that I made. But yeah, I don't play that diet feminism. You either on one side or you not on the other, because no man, whether he's black or not, nobody is saying that they agree with that woman getting hit with a brick if that's what happened. But don't bash black men and at the same time come back and say, oh, black men, this is what they do. Black men, let this happen to black women. No. So that's what I wanted to say. But no, I don't deal with diet feminism. Period.
Absolutely. And I didn't think you were talking about me, but I did just want to, from what you said, clarify my point so people wouldn't think that my stance is saying you have to come up here and protect black men. No, I actually feel like that's a person-to-person type of a thing. Just like in Twitter spaces, certain genders don't stand up for certain things. It's not really gender. It's based on if you have that strength, if you feel like you're capable. But please, if you do feel the strength, when you don't be that person to just walk on by and, let me mind my business, because that is going to actually lead for, in my opinion, a very dangerous humanity. And that is my opinion.
Okay, we got a lot of hands up, so we're going to I'm going to prioritize the people who haven't spoken I'm going to prioritize them first, and then we'll circle back around. So Town Buzz, you're next. And then after you, I think Willie or Racer Bow. I know who you are. We'll go with Town Buzz, then Racer Bow, and then Acoster. Okay, and then we'll move on from there.
Hey, what's going on, Afro Elite? What's going on, Rome? First of all, you have to, in situations like that, you have to assess it wisely. You just can't go in head first. You might end up getting yourself murdered. This is why a lot of police officers, when it comes to domestic violence situations, they're usually killed or injured. It's not about being brave or standing up for anything. Sometimes the situation may just be that you run the person off, get them up out the paint, and that be that. It doesn't always have to come to fisticuffs. Doesn't always have to come to violence. It just sometimes you got to just stand your ground in the right situations. Because you're really not obligated to anybody out here on your streets, but your girlfriend, your wife, whoever, your boyfriend, whatever, your family. So that's a situation. I don't know what happened with this young lady. No, she shouldn't have been hit with a brick. That was some messed up stuff. But she's looking at some of her stuff, her videos. She looked like she was out here in the streets walking, kind of game goofy, skits and all this stuff. This is the real world. This is not some television show out here playing around with folks. Folks is out here serious. They ain't playing. We all got to take stuff out here serious and stop walking out in these streets game goofy. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. I'll touch on that a little bit, but let's get to the hands. Racer, you got it.
Peace, Afro Thunder. Peace, everybody in the room. What's happening? Let me just start off by saying this. Do I condone what happened to this woman getting hit in her face with a brick? No. Do I feel sorry for her? Absolutely not. And I think that's what's been our main problem, just as a people amongst our own community, that we're being too forgiving. There's not enough shame for bad behavior going around our community like it should or like it once did, because shame corrects bad behavior. So I say that to say this, sisters, instinctively, and I'm talking about us FBA men of the community and through the lineage, we instinctively know to protect our women, to protect our community. But at the same note, you cannot compromise yourself or put yourself in compromising positions and expect to be protected. And that's actually gender neutral. That goes for men and women. I know a lot of mothers often tell their boys to walk the straight and narrow path, be a productive male in society, to avoid these situations, so that if these situations occur to you, you can be protected. So in that same breath, we cannot sit here and basically condone our sisters going around upholding ideologies that, one, undermine our community, two, that basically compromise them in their protection, and then engaging in these slut walks, engaging in this ideal of black women don't need men ain't shit, and they don't protect this and protect that. And then when you come across a situation, all of a sudden you're looking for protection from the same people you just disrespected. It just simply doesn't work like that. Another point I want to make up is that what is the reaction from her community? What are the Somali men saying about her and her activities? Are they condoning it? Are they condemning her getting the face and hitting the face with a brick? At this particular junction, we do not need to uphold all of these other communities' issues and problems. A lot of the people come from these third world countries with these third world behaviors, with these third world mentalities, and then come into this the system over here in the United States, and then uphold all of these ideologies that primarily affect our community, and then want protection from our community, or don't necessarily call out your community who's actually committing this behavior. So no, we're at a junction where everybody has to hold their own nuts. Every community has to be responsible for their underbelly, And this which also brings me to a whole nother point. And I'm gonna land after this, Afro. I believe this whole entire thing is propaganda. uh like Nikki said, I've been swollen up, and I used to box back in the day, so I can tell a real swell. And yes, it is a real swell, but I actually believe this whole entire situation was orchestrated. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Roly Poly busted her in the head with a brick, and then he's going to sit here and do a report on the show later on tonight. I mean, let's just be real. We have these, like I said, once again, these people are ages, and then if that is the case, and this woman is acting as an agent or a shield for the Democratic Party or for government entities or for any entity that wants to undermine the community, well, she needs to get hit with another brick. Because I have no more compassion, I have no more patience, I have no more tolerance for these people who actively work to undermine our community, who actively work to perpetuate this propaganda against our community, and these people need to be treated as hostile. We can't sit here and tolerate these people exhibiting these type of behaviors amongst our community and throw all of the garbage on our community, and then we just sit there and expect it to eat it. No, we cannot work like that, and we cannot have compassion or humanitarian views for people who act as agents within our community. They need to be treated as hostile, in my personal opinion, actually need to be dealt with. And I'm not condoning violence, but if it's something if bad luck or bad faith falls upon you for your agent-like behavior, then so be it. You will not get no compassion from me, and I'll land on that, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Now we got a lot of people who's on the panel right now with their hands up. They want to speak. We got people requesting too. So if anybody who's on the panel, if they don't have any other take, if they given their take already, I would ask you guys to drop down so we can have more people up. For the people waiting, just thank you for waiting and wait patiently, and we'll have more people come up soon. After that, it was Acosta. You go ahead, and then we'll get to what's your name? Stand on History. The person with the angry emoji. Okay. Can you guys hear me clearly? Okay. All right, Acosta, you can go ahead.
So, what I'm hearing is a lot of misandry from this woman. She should have been more concerned about the crime that was committed against her. Instead, she sat there on that hospital table painting a bad narrative and a bad picture on black men, when in like our community, black men have always stood up and protected black women. That's never been an issue. But to sit there and try to denigrate and put down black men, I thought was very disrespectful. You're not going to put a battery in all men's backs to try to be Superman and put their lives on the line to try to save people that aren't even from our community. By the way, men are more likely to be victims of violent crime. They're more likely to be murdered. They're more likely to be mugged than women are. And I don't see anybody trying to save black men. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm sorry that happened to her, but that's something you got to take up with your community, because in our community, we don't do stuff like that. We don't hit women with bricks, and we certainly don't let men get away with it. So I don't really care.
Well, I mean, and that's one way of looking at it. Like, for example, if I was to go to another country, if me and a lady were to go to another country and we start fighting, I'm not going to be like, you see, women, this is what women do here. They would be all like, no, y'all bought that shit over here. Y'all can't bring your domestic violence culture to another country and then, try to point the finger at the natives of that country. It doesn't work that way, So we got to be honest about that part of the conversation as well. Now we'll go with Stand on History and then Mr. No.
Yeah, thank you for giving me a chance to speak, Afro. What I like to say to the women who are trying to shame black men, or you calling us cowards or chickens or pussy or bitch made or whatever the term is that you want to run with, those of you trying to send us into a blender for somebody who clearly hated us tells me that you've internalized the fact from white people that our lives have no value whatsoever, because you knew that this woman hated us. You knew that she wouldn't piss on us if we were on fire. You knew that this woman was the type, more than likely, to get online and call us bullet bags when we get shot down in the street like our brother Philando Castile. She would be the one coming up with narratives about why we deserved it. And this is who you're saying that you don't understand why we don't want to show humanity for? You know, JL, I saw you saying that you didn't understand the narratives. What don't you understand about that concept? This woman hated us. So my question to you and to the rest of the women who have the position and the compassion for her is, if it's my job to protect her, a woman who hates me clearly and men like me, then is it also my job to protect white women who hate me and Latina women that hate me and Asian women that hate me simply because they're women? Why or why not?
Y'all stop the narratives, because again, I said when she first came on the scene, we didn't know anything about her except that she got her head hit in the brick or with a brick. If I look at a woman and I see that happening, man or woman, the humanity in me is going to care. That's what I said. I didn't address any of the think pieces, anything she said about black men, none of that. And plus, I told you that my understanding is that black men in real life situations have always helped. So I take these online narratives with a grain of salt, again, because I feel like as black Americans, we have humanity that we would pretend we don't, which I'm not saying is always good. Look at slavery. I just don't think that's us to look at someone in harm's way and just turn our head. No, I don't think that's us. I think it's an online narrative. So no, I'm not saying all women should be protected, because I keep telling y'all it's not a gender issue. A lot of things aren't gender issues. It's just me seeing someone hurt, and then I'm going to question the details later. That's the difference. I'm not going to say, whoa, I see somebody getting hit with a brick. Let me think about what they could have done. That's just not the first thing that comes to mind. So yeah, everything that people in here said, they have a point, but that's not what I'm addressing.
Okay, well, fair enough. Anybody who has the knowledge that she made these videos and is still tweeting, because there's a lot of y'all out there still tweeting about how black men need to run into the fire, respectfully, fuck y'all.
Okay, so put that energy where it needs to be addressed,
we'll
right?
say,
Let's direct that
we'll
energy where
say,
it needs to
hold
be
on,
addressed.
hold
If I'm not
on.
one
We'll
that's
say,
calling my name is crazy.
Thank you. Let's not call each other out, because this is not what this is about. That's not what JO said initially. But there's a lot of different perspectives, and just because somebody has a different take does not necessarily mean that that person is wrong. Now, what we can say is this: nobody here condones anything that her getting hit with a brick. Nobody here is making fun of that. Nobody here is condoning that. Okay. Nobody here is saying that if they were there, they wouldn't have done anything. But what we are saying is that, you know, there are certain situations where we as black Americans respond differently because our culture is different. Our FBA culture is different from their culture over there. So there's a lot of different angles to look at this type of situation. All right. I think that was where her point was, is that our culture is different. I don't think she was looking at like just defend all women type thing. I get where you were saying maybe it was just a difference in communication. So maybe you didn't get her take. So that's clear, and we're going to be moving on. Mr. No, you got it, or Dr. No.
Thank you, brother Elite. Excuse me. You know, I've watched the video. I've been in similar situations to that. To give a little story, I was about 17, was walking up to this little nightclub, you know, the neighborhood club, and I saw this guy pick this woman up and body slam her. So I was about to intervene, and another guy stopped me. He said, "Man, don't do that." I said, "What's up?" He said, "Man, that chick that stole $10,000 from that dude." That guy saved me. I mean, from the videos I've seen of this woman, I don't think she's telling the truth. I think she's just saying that this guy tried to talk to her and she turned him down. Because from the previous video I've seen, she walking up to guys, slapping them and walking off. And now men are not going to take that like that. And then, like I said, she's Somali, and a lot of guys that when they crowd were African, I'm assuming. Those people they don't play with women. America and these European nations, some of them are the only one that give a woman a pass for being disrespectful. And a lot of women feel as if that I don't care what a woman does, she gets a pass. In the real world, things just don't happen like that. People saying I don't condone this. Well, hey man, but we really don't know what really happened, what really taking place. But from what I've seen of this woman, hey man, I think she got what she was looking for. I mean, I watch these videos all the time by people pulling pranks, and I say to myself all the time, if somebody tries to pull a prank on me, they are going to get it. And this woman got it, and I just really hate that a lot of black women give women a pass just for being a woman. And all the women I know that are respectful and present themselves as women never get treated like this. But it's always the women that are kind of slutty and whorish that always get beat upside the head. So she got what she was looking for. I do not feel sorry for this woman, and I think it's wrong for women to say that men need to step in regardless of what is happening. And say, man, don't put yourselves out like that. You are going to get hurt. You probably killed, and this woman is still going to be on this planet doing what she's doing. My question is, has she learned her lesson? And she's going to make more videos of her walking up, slapping guys, and then want to do that twerking. What she did was when she slapped you and turn around and shake her behind, she's telling you actually to kiss her behind. And so on that, I'll land my plane.
Hey, I mean, that's a question that we have to ask. We're gonna have to be honest and mature about the situation, because I noticed in the video she was doing, I've always defended y'all, I would never let that happen. And then when you look on her page, it's not like she's an activist. The way she was talking before, she made it seem like she was out here saving the children from burning buildings and stuff like that. But then you see on her page, there's a whole bunch of pranks and skits and stuff like that. So like the narrative that she tried to paint, like she was just out here feeding homeless children and then somebody smacked her with a brick, that's not what happened. So there's a lot, and nobody's saying she's lying, nobody's saying she deserved it, but what we're saying is we can't just say because she got hit means she's telling the full truth about everything. It's unwise for us to do that, and it doesn't mean we hate women or anything or are justifying it. Okay. Now we can kind of we got with the new speaker, so we'll get to the hands. We'll have John Horse, then Naturally Torah, and then we'll have AB 2000.
Yeah, I just want to remind people too, man. Look, especially for the black men, bro, and the black women, bro, and within our community, always remember, bro, we've always protected black women, God. Like literally, it's a part of our culture, nigga. A part of all of our resistance here in the United States. You know, our resistance movement started with us protecting black women. You know, I mean, going back to the plantations, the rebellions literally started because of us trying to protect them. The Gullah Wars literally started because of that. Because of a black woman who got killed, nigga, and then after that, nigga, shit just went up. And it, you know what I'm saying? And understand, 2020 with Breonna Taylor, nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? Like her boyfriend, you know what I'm saying, was trying to protect her. So, you know what I'm saying? We have a history of protecting black women. So don't let none of these people come on and say, oh, you know, we don't protect black women. Like literally, nigga, we damn near set the goddamn country on fire because of black women. All the time. So, you know what I'm saying? Just always remember that it's a part of our culture to protect our women. Going back to slavery, nigga, we would literally, you know what I'm saying, fight, join the wars just to try to get back to our families, just to get back to black women. Burn down plantations, you know what I'm saying, to get back to black women. That's a part of our history. Don't let these other people who come from these other cultures try to sit there and gaslight us with all this other BS, bro. Now land.
Exactly. Let's put everything into context. Hold on, your mic is unmuted. Let me see. So I'm gonna mute your mic. But let's put everything into context. You're talking about the same lineage of men who broke Ashada Shakur out of jail. You know what I'm talking about? You're talking about the same lineage of men who damn near burned down the neighborhood after Latasha Harlins was shot by that Asian lady. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a jacket that's just and fair to put on to black men, because some stuff y'all got, because that's a big problem in y'all community, in the Somali community. That's a real big problem. So let's not do that. We're not going to conflate and mix the two. But we're going to continue with the hands and Naturally Torah. You can go ahead.
Okay, this is the last thing I wanted to address, and Dr. No actually addressed it. You rarely see this happening to decent black women minding your business, not in certain areas or situations. First of all, you're getting into altercations with multiple, either one man that comes from the same attitude of these feminists. They can do it on their own. They don't need a man. Regular women do not get into altercations with men. These feminists think that they can beat a man. You cannot beat a man, but these are the same ones you see in a man's face. So no one knows the story of why she got the brick upside her head. Again, we're not saying or condoning that it is correct, but these are the same women that put themselves in situations where you either getting up in a man's face or whoever knows whatever the other situation was that evening. Like Nikki said, there's nothing on no news channels in regards to this. She didn't report it, but black men are the police now. Black men are supposed to put the cape on and rectify this when there were men standing right there. Maybe those men didn't stand in because maybe they know what she did prior to. But you cannot have it both ways. You can't say you don't need a man, men ain't shit, and then you also want a man to put his neck out on the line and possibly lose his life for you. You don't get it both ways. We don't know what's going on with this woman. Decent women that don't be out at certain times, that be with their man most of the time, don't be combative and getting into altercations with men, even if the man started. If a man's trying to talk to you or whatever the case is, he going right, you go left. You don't stand there getting an altercation with a man and get in a man's face. So this don't just normally happen to regular women. This happens to women that's combative, the feminists, the ones that don't need a man, the ones that are with women and they think that that woman could protect them. You don't get the right to be on one side and then when that don't work out, say, oh, well, black men don't protect black women. Because yes, they do. My husband protects me and all the women in his family. So that's a lie. And every black man that's ever been in my life have protected me. But you don't get the right to be out there being combative and starting who knows what, and then you want a black man to put his neck out on the line. So I don't agree with no feminists, no women that say, oh, humanity, fuck that. You don't get the right to start shit and then a man's supposed to put his neck out on the line. He got his own family because you out there doing who knows what because you a woman. No. And the other gentleman, he said it correct. So a white woman that don't like him, he's supposed to protect her just because she's a woman, and a Spanish woman just because she's a woman, but he has his own family. You don't know what those people doing. I don't agree. Come for me if you want to. But yeah, that diet feminism, no, you can't have it both ways. You either gonna be a woman and you want a man to protect you and stop being combative, or you be on the other side and go take you some shooting lessons and protect yourself. And I'm gonna land there.
Thank you for that. Let me touch on that right before we'll go with our sister Miriam in here. Before we do that, I'm gonna say every black woman on here. Oh, actually, I said AB. Okay. Then we'll go with Sister Miriam. But every black woman on here knows there's at least one black man in her life, whether that's her brother, her father, her uncle, her cousin. They know a black man who will split somebody's head wide open for them on their behalf. They all do. So let's not act like black men ain't out here protecting black women. And these are not black men that you're in sexual relationships with either. There'll be a neighbor you had for 5 years. He'll sit up there and break somebody's door down because of you. So let's not act like that, okay? And another thing is too, a lot of the women who are saying stuff like that, would you want your husband to charge into danger on behalf of somebody else? Would you want your father to charge into danger, or your son? If somebody called you, if the police called you and said that your son was killed because he tried to protect some lady, and then but the police aren't getting any information out of the lady, she don't want to snitch on her boyfriend, you're not only going to be mad at the person who killed your son, you're going to be mad at the woman too. So let's be honest. The narrative is out. They want men to be superheroes, except the men they know. They want the men they know. They want, if their dad gets killed trying to save somebody, they're going to get upset at everybody. So let's be very mature and realistic with what we're trying to put out, the narrative we're trying to put out. AB 2000, you can go ahead.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Shout out to everybody in the room. Yeah, there's a couple of things. This is one of the reasons why I don't rock with social media like that, because we don't have the whole story here. We just have like a snippet of what happened. We don't know what happened before. Uh, they could have edited these videos, which I think this is just kind of what came up when I first seen the video. I was just kind of skeptical about the whole thing. I'm like, this looked like a plot, because like a lot of these social media pranks and stuff like that be happening. And then we also had to evaluate like the temperature of today's society, like with uh, you know, it, this could be like a setup. You understand what I'm saying? Like a situation like this plotted, and then they're just waiting for somebody to respond, and then something happened to whoever defends this lady. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that we have to like just pretty much gauge the temperature. Also, keep in mind too, like that we don't have the whole story. And then I also a part of my mind also went to like these other conversations that we've been having on Twitter, as far as like reparations and stuff like this. Like the black man and the black woman have actually come together on the same accord in this situation. So I'm just like wondering if these videos are now surfacing, so we start to become combative with each other, like up in arms with each other. You know what I'm saying? To not be on the same common ground. So just protect your mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like how people say in these spaces, like don't let it go too far, because like we don't have the whole story. But I know one thing: if I'm out like with family members or a friend or something like that, and then a woman's attacked with us, of course we gonna handle it. You understand what I'm saying? But some random chick, I just can't speak on it, man, because I don't have enough information.
Thank you. And this is why it's important not just to, before you jump into something, before you even make a response. I'm seeing a lot of people having to take back their responses, because there's a lot of stuff. Like last night, she was just a victim of the century, and now people pulling up receipts of her joking about reparations and watermelon and stuff like that. So now people like, oh, okay, we don't really know what type of energy she was on. Like I'm saying before, if some 15-year-old gets jumped in the hospital, everybody's gonna be like, oh my god, that's so terrible. Then you find videos of him acting like he stealing people's cars and doing a bunch of pranks. Then it kind of puts you in a different perspective. Then you're like, oh well, nobody's condoning it, but when you put context to it, you kind of get a different opinion about that. So that's something too. Now we'll get to our sister Miriam.
Thank you, Brother Afro Elite. Good evening to you. Good evening to all the family that's in the room. And shout out to you. I see everybody down there. Brother Black Alpha in the house. Brother Just Will in the house. Of course, our beautiful sister Nikki the Goddess. Well, Goddess in the house. And just peace and love to you, family. I know I've been a little absent. I've been going through my own situation and just trying to heal and protect my mental health and energy from that. But I have been looking in here and there just to, keep abreast of what's going on, especially with our FBA lineage, and then to come across this tether bed winching orbit muncher, if you will, who have such disdain and such disrespect and such anti-FBA black hate and vitriol that it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Number one, okay, to each his own, that's your lifestyle. But believe me, if you want to be pro corporate muncher, that's your problem. But you can't sit up there and crap on men at the same time and be utterly disrespectful to FBA women as well, especially FBA men. No, honey, put all that garbage and that shame and disrespect and culture shaming and Do your gender wars with your own kind, with your own men. Like you said, they get outside of their tribe, or get outside of the African diaspora or Caribbean diaspora, or even Haiti diaspora, and come here in other different countries or communities, and think that they have the right. They just lose their damn minds. They have the right just to say any and everything, spewing so much hatred and vitriol towards men in general, but then they want to always attack us beautiful FBA women. We can't help that we born like this, honey. We woke up like this, honey. So grab several seats and sit your behind down somewhere. I mean, the fact that she sit up there and said a man innately is not a protector. In what world and what reality were you born in other than the animal damn kingdom? Okay? I mean, it's just so reckless and just so hideous, the things that she spewed out of her mouth, and especially about the watermelon and all of that. And then the most horrific thing that she did was to have hashtag reparations on one of her videos while she up here slapping white men in public and doing all this. That is potentially so dangerous. And like the brother said, then she want to shake her nasty, out of shape, water buffalo built ass. But yet you want to cosplay like you're FBA, but yet you want to hate on FBA. These people have a sick fetish. I wonder, do they want to act like Hitler when he was skinning folks during the Holocaust? Do you want to wear our skin? Is your significant other, fellow carpet muncher burning our skin on lamps and want to eat that off of there and wear it too? I mean, you really do have to look at these people's psyches, because you got to remember some of their backgrounds in which they come from, how they are tortured and manipulated and mistreated and raped and stuff like that. And not to play theirs up, because we've been through all those things and continue to suffer at the hands of our open oppressor, and still go through these things. Their sisters still being raped by police and others and other men from other cultures. There's still brothers who's being sodomized and stuff, and beat and unjust jailed and hung and lynched. So we don't have time for all the foolery that these others are putting towards us. And then they want to get mad when we label them for what they are. You are a damn tether. You are a disgrace and a disdain. You can say xenophobe until your front teeth fall out. We don't give two damn cares, because all they do is make my teeth whiter. So you can holler ex-xenophobe from the highest mountain. Why? Because every living person, let alone lineage, has the right to be their own selves, their own identity, and to identify who the hell they are, along with being able to separate themselves from others, or you will not have an identity. You will not have things that are only for you and your own culture. So you could go to hell with that. You do not hurt our feelings with that. And who the hell are you shaming? Shame yourself that you had to flee. Shame yourself that your ancestors or your grandmom or aunt or whoever the hell raising you, or whatever banana boat, tunnel, whatever the hell you crawl from under. This goes for all people of all diasporas, be it Asian, be it Latina, be it Hispanic or Mexico, Chicano, be it so-called Native American with your $5 Indians. I'm talking to you. You're not the true indigenous of this country. We are. I'm talking to all of y'all. Okay? Period, point blank. Because we're tired of you coming for our necks. We must protect our neck. So hold your own. Hold your own luggage, your own baggage. Stop crawling on our backs for every little thing that we fight and fought for in this community. You cannot sit up there and come forward and keep attaching yourselves onto us. That goes for you too, PC woman. Oh, you are the worst. You and your feminist movement, who have poisoned and indoctrinated some of our less knowing of self sisters out here. Unfortunate. As Dr. Randy Short called them, pork chop feminists. That's a damn oxymoron in itself. That goes against anything that is holy, that is sacred about the family unit, the heterosexual family unit. You know, it goes against children. It goes against our black, beautiful, strong black men. It goes against our beautiful, level-headed, straight black women. So if you aren't down with persuasion and bent in some type of way, and not to hit and kick against nobody, like I said before, against who you choose to love, that's your own damn private business. And the word.
And let me touch on that real fast.
I was gonna
Let
land
me
my
touch on
plane.
that real
Yes,
fast.
sir.
'Cause yeah, okay. Um, this is not, nobody is justifying this because of her sexuality. Okay, we're not saying that. Okay, there's a lot of women out there who they like women or whatever the case is, but they're not on this I like women and I hate men. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to see a whole bunch of receipts, and she's sitting up there dogging men. Ew, I would never be with a man. I would never sleep with or live in a house with a man. Men. It's a lot of negativity towards that. So my thing is this. Okay, we're gonna have to be realistic and be like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Now, back in the days when there was chivalry because, to be totally honest, it was both. It was both ways. It kind of went both ways. There was a certain way women in general treated men, and then there was a certain way men in general treated women. And now we have a thing. Where women are taught not to treat men like that at all, but the men have to treat the women the same way. And it's just not going to work that way anymore. Now, this does not, like I said, not a single person speaking on the stage now or before has condoned anything that's happened to her, condones any violence, condones men hitting women, women hitting men, or any of that. That's not what we're saying, but we're adding much needed context to the situation, because it's not fair to put that jacket onto us. Because Tariq was saying this earlier in his space. If y'all went to college, y'all graduated, y'all started a nonprofit for homeless, or y'all did a feed the kids program or something, like anything productive and positive, y'all would triple stamp Somalian on there. Y'all would make sure, no, it's Somalian. And then when some goofy stuff happened, now y'all like, well, no, come on, it doesn't matter that they're Somalian. It ain't gonna work that way. We not gonna do that. When it's productive, we gonna triple stamp and make sure it's trademarked Somalian. And then the negative stuff, we gonna put that on the feet of niggas, which is really Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? We all gotta hold ourselves accountable. It don't work that way. It really, really don't. But I want to get to some more of the hands. Also, too, if you guys have not subscribed, if you guys are new to this, you guys can go up on the Jumbotron. I got my YouTube in there in the Jumbotron. You guys can go there. I got a program tonight. So you guys definitely want to make sure you guys are there for that. We'll move, because there's some people who haven't spoken at all. We'll get to Grinds. And then after Grinds, we'll get to the Black Vanguard.
Appreciate you, brother Afro. Peace to the room. So to the discussion. One, I wanted to respond to something that AB 2003 said. Absolutely yes. And I feel like because he threw up there the possibility of this adding to the gender war amongst the Black community. Absolutely yes. They are coming out of the woodwork with, like, this is basically what all the Hail Mary throws, passes that they're trying right now to keep us divided. I said for a while that media is designed to get you in your feelings. Social media is designed to really get you in your feelings, because on top of the propaganda, there's always been historically anti-Black, especially anti-Black male through the media. They're going to use their flunkies on social media to add to the fire. You have to understand the history so that you can know what's going on and you know how to combat it. We have to go to the root. A lot of people are fussing at the fruit of the problem, which you can complain about the fruit of the problem, but we have to get to the root of it, because in order to get to the problem, in order to knock a tree down, you got to lay the axe to the root. And when you have the understanding about racist ass America, 3Ks, no C, ever since at least emancipation, of course before then, but especially since emancipation, there's been all types of rhetoric, targeting us, from don't let guns get into the hand of the former slaves to watch out, protect your white daughters, because these freed
niggas is gonna rape your white daughters. So and the a lot of these flunkies that's fighting us on social media, even as recent as last week with the whole thing with the chick with the nose ring looking like Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and all the flunkies defending her. A lot of them don't know the history of the anti-black rhetoric that's been against us. Some people do because we've shown all the receipts, and they still don't give a fuck because whatever chicken chains they're getting from their, white paymasters, it's it's convenient for them at the moment. Excuse me. So regarding the division, they have to attack us. One, because they're in fear of white numbers going down. Even Father Crime, Biden, in that meeting, he didn't say that shit with glee in his heart. He was, in panic mode when he was like, "Y'all got to get along with the Latinos. The white European is going to be the minority by 2040." So they're doing everything they can to keep us divided. One, to preserve their white numbers in hopes of ours diminishing. Also, historically, we have funded all kind of civil rights movements. We've always been fighting against white supremacy, and us as the family unit, the Black household has always funded Dr. King, besides the other people that was funding them and all of that. But we've always funded Black power movements and things like that. So they had to do everything that they can systemically to keep us apart. So that's one of the reasons why they had to maintain bullshit. What do you call it? Beefing between the Black man and the Black woman. And of course, if we're always at odds, we're not going to keep the blood pure. We're going to go outside. You got the divestors, and then you got the those that feed into the bullshit and don't really seek the FBA sisters, and we're going to lose our population if we continue the bullshit. So you have to know what's in play. That way you know how to combat it. It is an agenda. Don't fall for it. It's always goofy chicks like that, and see, I didn't know what to think at first, and then all of a sudden this morning I saw the videos where she was doing all that butt shaking and slapping folks around and stuff like that. People like that, they always know how to they always know how to use certain rhetoric to play the victim until you get the receipts, and then you find out how they were previously treating people, and then all of a sudden you get the revelation of what really happened. You don't know what if this chick is giving you all the details or not. So that's all. We really just got to be on guard, be on code, and make sure that we don't fall for the BS. Historically, we've always fought back while tethers stood to the side looking dumbfounded, i.e. the Jordan Neely situation on that train. You saw that tether looking dumbfounded with his arms folded, not doing shit against these white supremacists. We always have a history of fighting. They don't. They have a history of fleeing. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for that. We're gonna get to the next hand, but let's be real with it. I mean, you spoke a lot of truth. Spoke a whole lot of truth with that. Every woman on here who said, hey, they feel that men protect them. Every man in the world is not gonna protect you. That's just if I have to tell you that, I'm sorry. But the women who came up there said the men in their life make them feel very well protected. Not even, just men in general. Black men don't make black women feel endangered. That's the narrative that's getting pushed, that, a black woman is holding tight to her purse when she sees a black man. That's not how most black women feel around black men. And I'm citing the women on this space who said that. But we're going to continue with the hands. The Black Vanguard, you got it.
Hey, what's up, Afro, everybody in the space? I start wondering too is that I've been saying, I don't condone violence against any woman, no throwing bricks though. But one thing I know is too is that because I travel all over the world, I've been to like 10 different African countries, I've been to also Caribbean countries. That feminism stuff they bring to America, they don't do that in their own countries though, because they know the man will get on them for doing that in other countries. So they come here to America or the Western world because they know that the so-called they zaddy or the white women will protect them. No, that's why they know they can get away with it though, versus in their own country. But we always been protecting our sisters for a long time, ever since slavery time, and also that degenerate stuff they like putting on our community. They don't do that amongst their cultures though. Like that Caribbean ones that had a Flatbush in Brooklyn, they was on P's and Q's. You didn't see no degenerate stuff. You didn't see no twerking, all that degenerate stuff they do. You didn't see that at the Caribbean wars though. But when it comes to Black American culture, they like to portray our culture in a negative way, like the gossips, the World Star Hip Hop, the X magazines, and other incidents though too. So I'm glad we called out. And then Somalians, they go out their way to say they ain't black though. They consider themselves Arabs or Caucasians. They got a derogatory term in Somali language. They call Jairs or the bees though. So all of a sudden they like to say that we all black, we all the same. Like the time I see me other people saying with some positive, with some constructive, they will say they Somalian or Ethiopian or Richian or Ugandan or Ghanaian, Nigerian, but where they do some generous stuff, we all black though. I'm glad we actually delineate from that, saying, well, y'all do something negative, do something degenerate, be the same like y'all do something positive too. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, real talk. Real talk. I mean, and this is the thing that we have to be honest, because there's some people are like, well, there's FBA men who've done things like that, and we understand. There's FBA men who be on that type of energy where they get rejected, and then that makes them get violent. Nobody is saying that does not exist, but what we are saying is that the culture of that does not exist. What I mean by that is, I mean to say, there might be like unhinged Black men who are like a few small percent who do stuff like that, but they don't get to go back in Black society and just kick it like that. It's not a group of Black men who are like, dang, hey, my best friend just hit a woman with a brick because she didn't give him her number. That's not in our culture, or even to just stand around. You can see with the Alabama situation, with the stuff with Alabama, our culture isn't even just to stand around, you know what I'm saying, and watch something like that happen. So it's not no thing of they're being protected, because the narrative is out there is like they're committing crimes and then they're being hidden. They get to like hide among other Black men who don't want to say anything, don't want to speak on it. That's not how our culture works. You know what I'm saying? That stuff works in these other foreign places. We're going to have to be realistic with that. In these other foreign places, a dude will just smack a woman in a grocery store and then just walk straight out. That don't happen here. We don't allow stuff like that to happen here. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be very realistic with the difference in culture and behavior, So we'll get to PC and then JL.
I was just gonna say, a person that comes from a culture with all types of female genital oh gosh,
The mutilization, yeah.
Exactly. They can't tell me nothing. So that's first and foremost. So she can't talk to me about no type of nothing. Second of all, I personally, this my opinion doesn't reflect other people's opinions, but I personally think that there are reasons you should hit a person in the face with a brick. I think that there are a list of reasons why something like that would happen, and I'm not a person who subscribes to believe all women. So I'm not gonna just go with, because I didn't see no video of what happened, I'm not just gonna run with what she's talking about. She looked like she got hit. I don't know why though. Right? She could have very well brought that action upon herself. I believe that's something that could have happened. And so,
but before you finish, let's just say we don't know, so we're not condoning her getting hit. You know what I'm saying? So let's, because I don't want the narrative to be twisted. You know what I'm saying? So let's
absolutely.
We're not condoning it. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
You got it.
No, that's it. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so just to bring everything full circle, because I've heard almost several men get up here and admit that this is my opinion. I don't always want to make everything culture, but I don't think that Black American culture, again, I told y'all they used to have that turn away, not my business mentality in New York, who is predominantly in New York, not us. Do you get what I'm saying? So that used to be the mentality only there, where they would see somebody get brutally stabbed and be like, oh, I'm just going to turn my head. Now, we're not saying jump in the fire. I don't even think that men should always put themselves in certain situations. You get what I'm saying? But as a Black American, in my reality, just from what I see, I'm going to be real. I don't see us avoiding those situations, ignoring it. I see us getting to a safe place, calling 911. It doesn't always mean put your family member in danger. If it's a situation where you feel like you're going to get killed, your intuition will probably tell you that. That's the type of people I know us to be. So, and let me just say also one thing about these feminists and these women that are very, hateful towards men. What I see is pain. I'm not saying that it makes it right, but the same on both sides of the spectrum. And pick-me's and feminists, I see women that don't get much attention from, and not just attention, but they're not always protected. There are some women out here, believe it or not, and it might be their culture, but they don't get protected from men. And just because I am doesn't mean that I always see, or that I don't see the lack of that in other cultures. You look at what's happening in Somali, they actually have reasons to be feminist when you think of the fact that they're actually, their clits are cut off. Like, they have all the reason in their home countries to be feminist because of what they face with their men. So the same things that we can affirm and agree with in this space where you talk about Somalis and the things they go through, I'm not saying that we have to put on a cape and save them all. I'm not saying that. But if she's talking about men, it might be her own men. You get what I'm saying? It might be the lack of compassion that she saw for the men in New York, who I would remind you guys probably are not Black American because they're from up north, where they have more of a savage, don't do anything, don't get in the mix mentality. So again, I'm not saying that men have to, get in the way, but I just feel like in America, that is not our culture to just look at someone getting hurt and be like, oh, that's none of my business. We can say that in these spaces, but that is not what I see in my family, in my, people that I know in real life.
Yes, it does have to be stated there's a difference in culture and how men operate within different cultures within different countries. That has to be highlighted. That cannot be ignored, because that is a very significant factor in this situation. Naturally, Tori, you got it. Then we'll go with Miriam.
I
If
just
anybody
wanted
else is on the space and want to speak, you can raise your hand. You got it.
I just want to address what JL said. Completely false. As a born and raised New Yorker, so again, that's diet feminism. Like, men in New York, they'll let something like that happen. Black men in New York will not. Yes, New York have this stigma of, yes, we mind our own business in certain isolated situations, but there is no black man or no block in New York that's going to see a black woman getting a brick upside her face and not going to do anything because they're from New York, and people from New York got this mentality, mind your business. So if you're not from New York, don't make that statement, because now you're saying black men from New York don't protect because they mind their business. That's a lie. I'm born and raised New Yorker. That is a straight up lie.
What I said was Black Americans are not predominantly in New York. So if you have that, isolated, incident for you, and you're not understanding what I'm saying as far as our men having empathy, you're basically saying the same thing as me almost. I don't know if you realize that.
No, I'm not saying the same thing as
Because
you, because what you
you just
said
said that
was
men in New York
no.
would not turn their head, right? What are we doing?
And you said that black men, you said people in New York are known for minding their own business,
They
so that
are.
is likely to happen in New York.
They are.
Not in the case where a woman is getting her ass beat. Are you from New York? Are you from New York?
You're
Do you
saying
live
that
in New
not in the
York?
case
Do you
where a
live
woman
in
is
New
getting
York,
her
or are
ass
you
beat.
going
So what
by
is your
some
argument?
TV, something you seen on TV? Are you from New York? Or
So
have
you're
you lived
saying
in New
that men
York and
wouldn't defend
experienced?
a woman?
Are you from New York and have you experienced this from a New Yorker, a man in New York? Have you seen this yourself?
If she's getting up here and saying that a man in New York would defend a woman getting hit, then what are we arguing, y'all? Do you see what I'm saying? What are we arguing? I'm saying the same exact thing that she's saying. What are we arguing if she's saying that they do defend women? Oh, you get what I'm saying? Gotcha. Like, what are we arguing about?
Cousin or someone, don't speak on New York or what you think or what New York is known of. You cannot say New York men are known for minding their business, so this would happen probably in New York, more New York, because that state is known for minding their business. Are you from New York? If you're not from New York and you
Okay,
haven't
so
experienced
basically
this,
you're saying
you can't speak on it.
men
I'm
from New
born
York
and
do
raised.
defend women.
I'm born and raised, so I'm not
Oh,
gonna let you
okay.
speak on New York if you're not from there. So again, with
So
the
we're
diet
saying the same
feminism,
thing though.
feminism,
Y'all see how I did that, right?
again, with the
Y'all
diet
see how I did
feminism,
that, right?
the
We're saying the
diet
same
Ladies, this
thing.
is
Okay.
being
feminism,
recorded.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is
the
being
Okay.
recorded for a podcast.
Okay. Okay. We can't do the back and forth in the arguing, because when you put this on the playback, nobody can understand or hear anything. We can't do that. Now, I'm going to say, we're going to say, JL, what I think there's a miscommunication going on, because JL is saying that she's not saying that, Tora is saying that she's saying something different. So what we're going to allow to happen before we move on is we're going to allow everybody to make their stance abundantly crystal clear. So whether they agree or disagree, they know what they're agreeing or disagreeing on. So JL, you can reiterate your statement. What are you saying? And then we'll get to Tora, and then we'll see what she's saying, and then we'll have a
So
conversation
what
about
I
that.
was implying is that there's not a lot of Black Americans in New York, and I feel like the non-Black Americans do have a savage culture. So then she got up and said, "Oh, Black men in New York would defend a
Hold
woman," and that's
on. Okay,
literally what I said our men always do. And I'm saying that the social media narrative is different. So all I'm saying is 9 times out of 10, we are not that person to turn away from a situation and not do anything. That's not our culture. Then she got up and basically said the same thing, affirming what I said, calling it diet feminism, when in reality she's basically saying the exact same thing, because she came up here
No,
and said,
no, don't
"Oh,
say I'm
Black
saying
men
the
in
same
New
okay,
thing as
York."
okay,
you.
okay,
She's
okay,
saying
No,
okay,
that
okay.
Black
no,
men
because you
can
twist it
lift
up.
women, and that's
You
exactly
can't
what
Okay,
just
I
you
said. What's the
no,
difference?
hold
no,
on,
because
hold
I'm not
on,
a
hold
feminist,
on.
so you can't twist some words of that you
Okay, you're not a
feminists
feminist, but
do.
you said the same
O-
thing I said.
No,
Okay,
I didn't.
okay,
I didn't say nothing like what you.
okay, okay. So we're just gonna talk on what you mean, not what the other person responded with, but what did you mean? So you're saying, JL, what you said
I
is
feel
that in
like
New York
in
there's a
real
lot of
life,
non-FBA men.
by default, our culture is a culture of humanity. We don't just sit there and watch something happen to anyone and not do something about it. I don't believe that's our culture. I believe that was a New York turn away culture, and I'm obviously saying it's not us. So if she's trying to say that immigrants up there defend them, then whatever. That's her. You know what I'm saying? That's her own isolated story. But I'm saying as a whole, our culture is not like that. And you can see where they have these turn away, mind your business cultures that are not predominantly Black American. And I don't like to always bring culture in it, but that's what I see. That is 100% what I see. 9 times out of 10, I've always got protection. And I'm not saying that men have to go throw themselves in harm's way of anyone. That's not what I'm saying. But we do it. Our culture does it. That's my point.
Okay, all right. She clarified her statement, then we'll let Tora, she'll be able to give her take so she can give her point of view, and then we'll move on productively. So Tora, you can go ahead.
Yes, we're not saying anything the same because, yes, we do know that immigrants are taking over now. This is coming from someone that's not a New Yorker. That's why she's speaking on, oh, well, there's a lot of immigrants up there. She's talking about her isolated. Honey, I'm 51 years old. I'm born and raised in New York. I'm not talking about something isolated. I'm talking about what I know. You're talking about what you heard of and that immigrants are up there now saying, oh, there's not going to be any immigrants. You're twisting words, and that's what feminists do. What I'm saying is there's no Black men, no Black Americans in New York or no block that would see that. We're not saying the same thing. I'm not twisting my words. I'm being straight up. Don't speak on New York if you don't know and you heard of is what I'm saying, because you're thinking of the immigrants that's up there now. I'm talking about far as I know. And as far as I've seen all my life, there's no Black men that will stand around and watch a woman get a brick upside her face. We're not saying the same thing. You're twisting words. And that's the point that I was making. You're not from New York. You're speaking on, oh, there's immigrants up there now, and there's majority immigrants. So, oh, maybe an immigrant's going to protect her. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're not from New York. And what you're
So
saying is
you're
nothing
saying
like
that
what I'm
they
saying.
would or wouldn't?
Don't twist my words. We're not talking about immigrants. I'm talking about Black
I'm not. You're saying the
Americans.
same thing as me.
I'm
What's
talking about
different?
Black American men would not let a Black woman get a brick upside her head, is what I'm saying. That's what I said straight up.
So you said nothing different
No,
than
no,
me.
no,
This is a
Afro, and don't
recorded
let her
space.
interrupt me because she's not going to interview me. Don't
Yeah,
interview me.
okay.
Let me finish. You don't interview me. So what I'm saying is we're not saying nothing alike because what you're saying is, oh, it's majority immigrants up there, so of course they're not going to do anything. Don't try to use Jedi feminism word games with me. What I'm saying is the Black man that's up there is not, that's the point I was making, will not let that happen. You're making on what's going on now. There's more immigrants up there, so they will make that will let them happen. No, you already done tried it with your diet feminine.
The space is recorded, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, what we'll do is both of you all gave your pieces. Both of you all addressed what each other had to say. This space isn't for that. This space is for another topic, and this space is going to be on YouTube or whatever. I'm not going to sit up here and kick anybody off, but we are going to move on. I let it be clear where everybody made their stance clear. All right. We haven't heard from our brother Black Alpha. We're going to move on to Black Alpha. You know, this space is recorded, so if there's been any misunderstanding or miscommunication, people can go back and people can listen to the space, or people can just agree to disagree. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to facilitate a drama space where people are, you know, going back and forth and there's
No, but
7
Afro,
people
I
in
do
the
just want to
space.
clarify, because ever
And
since I came in this space, I've been defending Black American men, and it's a recorded space. So it's like to sit here and try to say diet feminism, all these things, because people
I'm not putting the
don't
blame on
articulate
anybody.
things
I'm
like
not
you is
putting the
very
blame on
strange.
you. I'm not putting the blame on anybody. All I'm saying is that both of you, I gave it a fair thing where both y'all can air y'all points out. Both y'all did. We're gonna have to agree to disagree and move on with the conversation. Black Alpha, you got it.
Peace and respect, brother Afro. How you doing today, family?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. I want to say, first off, certified salute to everybody in the space. Much love and respect to all of us. One thing I do want to touch on, though, is that certified foundational Black Americans, we do have a culture of protecting each other. And I feel since we've been delineating, separating, just staying in our own lane, a lot of these other people from different groups, different backgrounds, they've been trying to put their dirty laundry on us. They've been trying to get us to wear these jackets, and we keep rejecting them. We know what time it is. We don't really have to explain how we hold each other down. We have a rich, long tradition and history of being there for each other. Nobody loves Black American women more than Black American men, and nobody loves Black American men more than Black American women. That is the bottom line, and it goes back to the "we are all we got" culture. So anybody from, you know, inside this community who is off code, or outside of our community who is off code, anytime they try to slander us with this "we hate each other," that's really just some divide and conquer tactics, and they can't get in on our reparations. They can't get in on our tangibles. They just can't get in on this exceptional culture that we have. So they have to take the kind of cowardly way and start saying, well, y'all are just like us. Half these individuals don't even identify as Black. Only time they truly, really identify as Black is when they want our reparations money, or when they get hit with a brick. Getting hit with a brick or trying to get our money will make a motherfucker try to turn Black real quick. So what we have to understand is that when it comes down to us, we hold each other down. Look at the Black Panther Party. Do y'all know 80% of the Black Panther Party were Black women? Okay, we know it. The Shakur family. You were talking about Assata Shakur earlier, Afeni Shakur, all the way across the board. Kathleen Cleaver. We can break it down. Kathleen Cleaver and Eldridge Cleaver, they were pretty much the most dominant revolutionary couple in the 1960s and 70s. Much love and respect. So we have this culture of holding each other down. I know one thing for sure. If you run up on a Black man's sister, wife, cousin, or somebody that he holds in high regard, you're going to catch that word. That's just what it is, and vice versa. Because I see some sisters right here. Salute to you, Sister Miriam. I know somebody mess with me, sister. You're going to put them hands on them. Okay, I know that for a fact. And it's going to be vice versa and much love. That's how we operate. You already know, my sister. You're going to hit them with that Midwest all day, every which way. So we just got to maintain our culture. Let the whole world know. We got to let the whole world know, man, that we stand together, and they're going to try all these divide and conquer tactics. Some people don't want to be Black until it's trying to bring foundational Black Americans down, but they can never bring us down. I'm Black Alpha Network. I got my wife, Queen Alpha. We stand together, and nobody's going to violate neither one of us the same way nobody's going to violate anybody in this space. So anytime we're together, anytime we have some type of gathering, there's a lot of love. What they want to do is they want to divide us so they could take us out separately, but that can't happen. That won't happen, and that'll never work. So certified salute to you, my brother Afro. Thanks for opening this space. I'm gonna be tapping into you tonight, brother, at 7 o'clock. Much love to everybody. We're all we got. Can't nobody divide us. We hold each other down. We protect each other. We're building. We're working. We shining. We grinding. One love.
One love, brother, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. Also, I am going live. I am going live tonight at 6 p.m. Central, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So you guys make sure, we have a very important subject we're talking about in Chicago. So you guys make sure you guys tune into that, because that's going to be popping. That's going to be a lot of useful information. But he's right that we're with the Montgomery thing. We're strong together. We're unified together. We can do a lot of things together. All right. What the dominant society, what white supremacists and white supremacy is going to look at this, and they're doing the Birdman hand rub right now. They're looking at it like, okay, now, because there's like a little crack. Now we're going to try to split the two apart. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of little think pieces sitting up there talking about, well, black women, if y'all would be with white men, this wouldn't happen. Y'all don't see this happening with white. She was slapping white men. You didn't see a white man hit her back, but you saw black men, they hit her. They're violent. You're going to have a lot of that. So this is why us as intelligent black society, we get ahead of the narratives and of the problems that we know that they're going to have in the beginning, because this is a very layered conversation. All right. And there's a lot of different angles and different takes people have, so we're going to be listening to all of that so we can collectively grow and heal as a community, so we are not penetrable by the dominant society, by white supremacy when it comes to a gender divide agenda. So I thank our brother Black Alpha for that. Y'all go check out his page on YouTube. Let me get you you haven't come up, Jonathan Mark. You got it. And then we'll go with Miriam.
All right, thank you for having me. Peace to the whole room. Shout out to everybody. First off, I want to say that no woman should be hit unjustly and hit by any man. But I have to bring attention to the situation. In the first part of the video, you see her with her stud person, and she has on a mask, so you can't see her face. And then in the second part of the video, you see her face and it's all busted up. And then you see this whole operation when you watch her whole, profile, where she has this feminist agenda, this rainbow agenda, and basically like that. I have to basically be honest with you. I think this is an operation from the get-go, because we have this continuation of, let's have this gender war. Let's continue to divide and conquer our men and women, and have them fighting amongst each other so they won't be unified, like you said in Montgomery, but also more importantly during the George Floyd uprising and during the civil rights movement of the 60s, when men, women, and children were all fighting together against white supremacy. And every time we fight and take a step forward, they do what's called counterinsurgencies, and they have drug warfare, gender warfare, and sexual warfare, and she basically qualifies as all three and is being used to try to divide our community up. And we got to be honest about it. We got to be honest about that. We have to be honest about what this all means for our community, and we have to counter it at all fronts. And I'm glad to see a lot of our women countering it and calling it what it is, basically, which is a psyop and used to divide us. And as long as we're united, we can do all we will. I feel like this what can we say, this dominant society, quote unquote, the white supremacist society, is only dominant if we're divided. Once we're united and we're moving towards a code and organized and we're trying to take over, they can't stop us. If we put our minds together and say, you know what, not only are we going to not be oppressed anymore, we're going to take over this nation and the world, who can stop us? Nobody. The only thing that stops us is ourselves. So I'm going to land my plane on that.
Thank you. We can't allow stuff like this. Now, some people saying it was orchestrated, some people saying it wasn't. Because we don't have proof it was, let's just assume that this was something that just happened. They use situations that just happen to their benefit, and we can't allow that to happen. Okay? So what we have to do is we have to understand with situations like this that it's important for us. If people are DMing me that they want to speak, you guys got a request, or at least I don't see them. But we have to make sure that this does not divide the community. We have to ensure that. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. And this is why we're having this space right now, because we're having black men and black women address this topic. It's not just a whole bunch of black women. It's not just a whole bunch of black men. It's a very open, mixed crowd of people sharing their complete thoughts. And this is what is going to produce healing and unity and strength. So thank you for that. We'll go to Miriam and then we'll go to Nikki.
Most definitely, brother. Thank you again for this space. It was much needed. And we just have to remember that we have a lot of open enemies, be it of the PC ruling class or be it from others, of the model citizens and all these other people who choose to assimilate into white supremacy. And there's always going to be many suspected white supremacists who are willing to do injustice and to put dirt and hate on our name because they're jealous and they're envious of us to begin with, and they are vying to take our place in this country, which can never happen because we are the indigenous of this land. Divinity will not even allow it to be so. And plus, all the work that our brothers and sisters, our ancestors have put into this soil, and our elders who came before us put into this soil, and that we and the current junior generation who is putting into this soil, and our children who will come after us will continue to put into this soil. We make this vibration on this landmass what it is because it's ours and truly ours, and they're going to give us what is owed to us. You know, reparations is owed to us, no matter the folly, no matter the tricks, no matter the illusions and delusions and distractions that they try to put before us. We see it. We see it a mile away, and we're going to concentrate on just loving and being who we are to one another, because we don't play gender wars with one another, because we love and respect each other. Any decent black man or woman or child worth their salt already know how important we are to one another, and it's us against the world pretty much. And I thank you for this, and I'll yield my time, and I'll see you tonight at your on YouTube. Alrighty.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. And that's another thing I'm seeing is people are like, how, as women, how do we protect ourselves from men? I don't think the narrative should be that, okay? This is just people protecting themselves from bad people. Because when something like this happens to a man, nobody's all like, well, men got to hold other men accountable for doing something to a man. You know, we acknowledge the fact that there is degeneracy among groups of people and that we have to protect ourselves from that. It's only when something like this happens to a woman where it turns into a gender thing, like, well, all men are attacking women. It's a war against women on behalf of men. It turns into that when it shouldn't really turn into that. It should turn into a thing of us teaching and informing women on ways they can protect themselves, ways they can be aware of their surroundings. I mean, she was in a club with a woman. Now, if that was her girlfriend, whatever, not okay. It is what it is with that. But she was in a club with a woman, and then she was outside by herself. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, well, why were you outside by yourself? What happened to the girl you was just dancing with? You know what I'm saying? Well, don't women, and I know I've been out with a lot of women don't even damn near go to the bathroom by themselves. So like, what was like, kind of what were you on? You know what I'm saying? So we have to be aware of teaching how to protect yourself, because for instance, if somebody's car gets stolen, nobody's going to justify somebody stealing somebody's car. But if somebody says, yeah, I left my car running while I went inside the gas station, everybody's going to point out like, well, I mean, nobody's justifying your car getting stolen, but you can't leave your car running and then walk away from it and expect nothing to happen to you. You know, you have to hold yourself accountable a little bit. That's not victim blaming, but that is to say, I mean, you do have to have actions to protect yourself from that. Nobody should break into your house, but everybody's house has locks. Nobody should break into your car, but your car has an alarm, your car has a lock. You know what I'm saying? So we have to have that mature conversation with that as well. I need to get ready for YouTube, because there's a lot of different clips. We got a lot of stuff, a loaded topic tonight. We got a lot of stuff we're going to have to review. So we're going to be wrapping things up a little bit, because I'm not going to be late. I've been very much so on time for YouTube, and I'm not going to be late. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we just passed 800 like a week ago, and now we're already like 100 and what, 20, 30 maybe in 140, my bad, 140 in since like a week. So we've been growing at an incredibly fast and steady rate. Thanks to all of you guys for watching, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and all of that stuff. So it's up to me to make sure The product, the production is on point, it's accurate. So I need a little bit of time to prepare. I don't want to be coming on late or anything. So I'm not gonna keep this space up right up until my live. So if anybody has any final words or anything like that as we wrap things up, you guys can request to speak, or if the speakers on the panel have something, they can request to or raise their hand and they can speak. Nikki, you can go ahead.
I don't know. Just like I said, I think differently. I don't waste my time on details that I don't need to waste my time on. And I get that everybody's talking about this, but I was wondering if anyone has tried to seek out any of the men who were standing around at that time. I remember people who were saying that some of them had accents. Nobody's wondering. Nobody tried to find them and talk to any of them, and I haven't seen any videos with any of them saying, "Hey, I was there and A, B, and C happened." I haven't seen that, so that's a big part that's missing out. Also, see, I'm not trying to victim blame. I'm just thinking critically, and a lot of times when I think this way, I'm correct. Sometimes people commit crimes and they get injured while they're committing a crime, or they're taking part in not so ladylike behavior, or they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, and they end up getting injured, and so they go into the hospital and say, "Hey, look what happened to me," and they're embarrassed, and they say, you know how sometimes you see these white women, they'll have sex with a black man, and then they'll say, "Hey, a black man raped me," and then everybody's outraged. I'm not the type to just say, "Hey, this woman is lying about something," but from my experience with seeing different cases of domestic violence, and women reporting things, and me having to assess them or triage them, there's just too much information missing from her story, and I feel like everybody's wasting their time having a conversation when they don't have all the facts. There's too many facts missing from the situation, like statements from the men who were there in the first place. Okay, so that would be the primary part. The secondary part would be, okay, all right, do we support her Cash App or her GoFundMe or whatever? How do we talk about this online? And then tertiary would be, how do we prevent some type of violence? But when it comes to the primary part of assessing a situation, we don't have anything to do with that. If you're in a situation, if you're right there in the city at the site of the incident, of course, you will, fight or flight will take place, and you will step into action and do whatever. And I'm betting to say that some of them, if the situation happened the way she said it did, I'm sure that more people would have stepped in, in a normal situation, like the men from where I come from would have. But that's not on Black American men as a whole, to put that on Black American men as a whole, because they weren't there during the primary part of the urgent part of the situation. Black American men as a whole weren't there. So whoever was there should have handled it or whatever. And then you have the secondary part where you're blaming the black men. Okay, well, let's go back and interview the men who were there in the first place, or don't say anything. And the men who were there, I'm sorry, they weren't Black American. So case closed. I'm calling something's off with this. That's my take on it.
Not only that, and before we go on, not only that, it was women there. If y'all saw the original video where she was addressing the men, she was addressing the men, but there was women there, and the women were like, "Girl, oh my God, how did that?" Like nobody at all was making any type of reaction. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of abnormal. So there's a lot of different kind of things that we have to question with this. Like Dizzy was talking about, normally if you were at a club or something, they have security. They got to have security. Somebody got to be patting you down so you don't walk up in there with weapons. So was security standing outside? Were there cameras? So there's no police report or anything. Did she give a description of the car he got in? Like it's a lot of missing information. And this isn't to victim blame. We're not trying to do that. We're not trying to say that she deserved what happened, but we're trying to say is there's bits and pieces of information, and then a narrative starts going out of control and they don't even have the information. So this is why we have mature conversations like this. All right.
Exactly, brother Afro, if I may. Exactly. Just to add on to what yourself and what Sister Nikki just said. Why? It's because it's not our culture. Why? Because it's not us that are there. And that answers it within itself. So there you go. Love you, family.
Thank you, sister. Much respect. So we'll keep going on like that. Shout out to the people who came and gave their perspective and gave their thoughts. Shout out to the people who shared, liked, comment. Make sure that you guys catch this on YouTube. I appreciate every single last one of you all, and of course, you all have a good one.